Coming up in today's video, Thunderchild 2 arrives at the iconic Tower Bridge. We collect a letter from the Lord Mayor of London addressed to His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco. 2 thumbs up from the local Teletubbies. We get a seawater leak on the starboard outboard engine. A big warm welcome from a local wave runner as we arrive into Guernsey, but not such a warm welcome from the local PD, and they issue us with a fixed penalty notice. We cross the Bay of Biscay in the middle of the night at over 30 knots, are chased by local Spanish pilots and hit a fog bank as we arrive into Vigo. All this plus much more coming up. The reason why Thunderchild 2 has arrived at England's capital is to attempt to set a world record from London to Monaco, whilst raising money for Great Ormond Street Hospital and gathering data for fuel cell technology.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Tower Bridge in London. Beautiful evening. It's coming up 9 p.m. and then we have the mighty Thunderchild. Yay! The boys have made it. How are we doing, chaps?
Yeah, very well, thanks.
Looking fresh.
Absolutely.
There he is.
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome.
Your cabin is all ready for
Oh, fantastic. I think it's up there somewhere. How's this, sir? Wow. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thunderchild 2 had just arrived from the island of Jersey, so as you can imagine, the chaps were pretty tired. We finished tying up the boat, took some photos and headed into the hotel for a few beers and an early night. The following morning after breakfast, we headed back to the boat as we needed to move her from the Tower Bridge Pier into St Catherine's Dock. The River Thames is tidal, and while we were there, the difference between high and low water was around 6 to 7 meters. So for us to be able to enter St Catherine's Docks, we must first enter the lock. We started up the main engines and awaited the go-ahead from St Catherine's Harbour Master.
Yeah, take out the bow line, and then we've got to put fenders over on starboard side and right. Stand is free to move on board.
Before entering the locks, the harbour master instructed us to tie up along our starboard side. Alex on the bow was giving distances in meters to the dock using hand signals, as it's hard for Ben to see from the controls, and we had 2 line handlers on the dock for assistance.
Well done, Cap. Even all the pressure. Did well, you did well.
a bit of an audience.
Are you going to go check us in?
We're going to see where we are.
Once the water level in the lock was at the correct height, it was time to start up the main engines, open the bridge and lock doors to make our way into St Catherine's Docks. We needed to reposition the fenders to the port side as Ben manoeuvred her beautifully into position. Thunderchild 2 is covered in a gold wrap and therefore attracts a lot of attention. We had quite an audience watching us as we came in, which does add to the pressure. The dock assistants were really friendly and welcoming, and in fact, I managed to practice my Spanish with one of them. After we finished tying up, Ben shut down the main engines and connected the shore power. Nick and I then headed into the city to collect a very special package.
We're here to pick up a letter from the Lord Mayor of London, and we're going to put it on our trusty boats, and we're going to deliver it to the Prince in Monte Carlo on Saturday, we hope. Yeah.
Hello, Henry.
Henry, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, we get to read it. We were concerned that it would just sort of say, we're about to throw you, please throw these bunch of hooligans into the brig.
Please destroy this letter after reading it. I didn't know if you want to put it in an envelope, but I just kept it. Is that okay?
That is perfect. Thanks very much.
Well, good luck on the rest.
Oh God, it's going to be so much fun. This is the letter.
Traditionally, mail from London officials to the Principality of Monaco was delivered by boat. So we thought we'd bring this long-lost tradition back to life.
But we're doing loads and loads of videos, and one of the videos we're doing is for they're going to actually show it to the kids in Great Ormond Street Hospital about
lovely.
how you do an endurance thing and all the rest of it, on the assumption we get to the other end.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, really, really good fun. But my son was in Great Ormond Street for a long time, so that's part of the reason why we're doing it. Many thanks for this.
Oh, no problem at all. It's a great pleasure.
But anyway, thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, and you know, enter the draw. Get your colleagues to it. It's 54knots.com. It's £10. Somebody can win a holiday for two nights in a hotel and a trip on the boat for a tenner.
Oh, thank you. I'll spread the word.
All the money goes to charity. All the money. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate this. Cheers. Bye.
Okay.
So we're standing outside the Mansion House here on a lovely sunny Monday in London. Just collected this letter from the Lord Mayor of London, which is addressed to His Serene Highness Prince Albert II. And we're going to deliver this letter to him in the old-fashioned way of going by boat on Saturday morning.
Once Nick and I had safely collected the letter from the Lord Mayor, it was time to head back to the boat to conduct some safety drills with the guys.
You basically grab the bottom and you go like that, and it pulls it out instead of pulling it all the way out, yeah? So most situations when you're putting these on, guys, you're going to be at sea, the boat's going to be moving around, okay? So it can be quite dangerous if you're trying to put your legs in, okay? So ideally, when these are stowed away, they're always left open, and you go in, you sit down on the deck, and then you put the suits on. That makes sense? Want to give it a go? Okay, the other thing with immersion suits, okay, where people make mistakes, is when you zip it up, a lot of people would zip it up to here. Always, I'm serious, always zip it to the very top. Always. So put the hat on. It's all about keeping because it will get wet inside, but it's about insulating the water inside as well. But your body will heat up the water inside. It'll take it some time, but you don't want that water leaking out and more water coming in. Keep going all the way up. You've got to be quiet. That one's. There you go. Yep. Keep putting up. All the way to the top. Yep. And then put your gloves on. Okay. Then over that, these will be buoyant in the water, but for additional safety and buoyancy, you want to put your life jacket on as well, and you inflate the life jacket as well. Good. So now you just got your gloves. That's good, but your gloves are just caught around there, so they need to go like that. So you see, it's stuff like this, the gloves getting caught, is where it's why we do this stuff, like test the gear, you know, next time, and then you want to put your crutch strap on as well.
Does it even have one?
It should do.
Wow.
You got the clip here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let it go. Ah, it's missing. You're taking it off.
It's not mine. I was just saying, I didn't
Anyway.
feel it, because usually...
This is exactly why we test the gear, because we're missing a crutch strap there. You inflate that, that's going to go all the way up like that over your face. So now we know we need to find a strap for that one. Leave it on for an hour so you get an idea of how warm it gets. Max, you want to put yours on?
Having the correct firefighting equipment and life-saving appliances is critical to running a safe boat. But not only should you have the equipment, you should also know how to use it. And not only you, your crew and your passengers. The more you use it, the more you become familiar with the equipment, encouraging a safety culture on board. A few days later, we left St. Catherine's Dock and once again tied alongside Tower Bridge Pier. We were ready to go London to Monaco, start up the main engines and said our farewells to London. Monaco, here we come.
Right chaps, so just still going down the River Thames on the starboard outboard engine. One of the seawater bolts failed. We had seawater at quite high pressure seeping into the engine room. Between Max and I had to shut off the seawater valve, and what happened was the nut had basically rusted through. Sorry, the bolt had rusted through. Fortunately, we had the correct Caterpillar spare on board. This is why spares are so important. And then we managed to screw it back on, put some plumber's tape. I know it's not the correct one, but that's what we have on board. And then we struggled getting that valve back open. So eventually we managed to get the valve open. Once the valve was open, we had to bleed the seawater circulation. Once we bled it, Ben, who's at the helm, started the engines, put a bit of power, and then we managed to get seawater circulation again. We're keeping an eye on it. We checked it. It all seems okay. It's running smoothly. The seawater is running nicely. The engines are nice and cool, and we're continuing our passage.
Throw it overboard. But,
Yeah, that's not an original.
That's pollution.
Not an original part.
I think we dealt with that really well, guys. Well done.
Yeah, well done, boys.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Cheers. Well done. Cheers, Ben.
Well done.
Ching ching. So this is what you kind of expect on a boat, these kind of issues to arise. That's why we'll be prepared to have the right parts, the correct tools, and remain calm, one step at a time. Fortunately, this boat was built, had enough bilge pumps, so the water that was coming in, the bilge pump was more than keeping up with the pressure of water coming in.
Exiting the River Thames, we cranked her up to 2,100 RPM, cruising nicely at over 30 knots round the Straits of Dover into the traffic separation scheme.
Right, chaps, so a bit of an update. Current time is 15:47. We're about 55 miles away from our first fuel stop in Guernsey. Currently cruising around 33-34 knots, so we should get to our first fuel stop in under 2 hours, around 2 hours or so. So far it's been pretty good since that losing the plug on the water cooling on the starboard outboard. And, enjoying it, yeah.
I think we've had our 3 hiccups. Ben and I were working out. You always have things always happen in threes. So we had a ding on the crane, the lock broke, and then the problem with the engine. So touch wood.
Fingers crossed, that's it. Yeah.
Should be over that. Looking forward to getting to Guernsey, get our first fuel stop out of the way, and then we got our long night passage ahead of us down to La Corona.
Right, ETA to the stop.
10 minutes out now.
10 minutes out.
Closing rapidly. We've got some people from Guernsey coming to join us. See us come in on a jet ski, which they're going to need.
They're on a jet ski?
Yeah.
Wow, that's brave.
So they're going to need it to be able to keep up with us. So
Yeah.
they said not on a sailing boat because they would see for a grand total of 5 seconds before we're past them. So yeah, at least he stands a half decent chance of keeping up.
Yeah.
Our first leg from London to the Isle of Guernsey was just over 250 nautical miles. Aside from the seawater circulation drain bolt, we had no additional mechanical or electrical issues, and the new Caterpillar bolt we screwed on was holding up beautifully. It was a cracking cruise across the channel, averaging over 30 knots while sipping our cups of coffee and Red Bull. We were welcomed by a wave runner that got some good air whilst trying to film our arrival into Guernsey. As we made our way into the port, once again, the guys got the mooring lines ready and fenders out on the port side. It was a friendly welcome from the locals as we docked the boat for our first fuel stop. The fuel supplier was on the dock waiting to welcome us as we had pre-ordered the fuel a few days beforehand. And along came trouble. Well, not really. We clickbaited you guys. We asked a police officer to issue us with a ticket to make the video look more exciting.
Yes, pizza delivery.
Whilst we were refueling, one of the guys was kind enough to arrange pizzas and deliver them to the boat. Max checked all 4 engines for oil and coolant levels and any signs of leaks or issues. And fingers crossed, it all looks in order.
Right, should we get moving?
Yeah, let's go.
Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one on the ledge.
Favourite man of the hour. It's an amazing boat.
Child's belly was full, it was time to say our thank yous and goodbyes. We released the mooring lines and waved goodbye to the locals. Ben took us safely off the dock with his incredible boat handling skills. Alex and Max placed the fenders in their slots, and once again we were underway.
Okay guys, there's a bit of an update. 11:25 PM local time, and we're just coming around. We've got Brest here. Come around the Brest, we've got TSS here. Come all the way across, straight line across the Bay of Biscay. So we should be there tomorrow late morning. Have it. Just gone 7 AM, day 2. Been running now 20, it's over 22 hours. So far so good. We're about 2/3 the way across the Bay of Biscay. First stop is La Coruña, second stop will be La Coruña. And going to refuel there, and then we'll see after that. We're expecting a bit of weather later this afternoon. So this is us here. We've got obviously Spain, and then there's the Bay of Biscay. Got Nick here, navigator. Conditions are pretty good at the moment. Cruising 34 knots. No targets on the radar, which is what we like. The sun's coming up. And that's the update. Right, so the best way to wake up in the morning when you can't shower. God, if my wife could smell me now, she'd probably divorce me. Anyway, good alternative is go outside and get some fresh air. And we arrive in 3 hours, and hopefully the port will be kind enough to let us use their shower facilities.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Updates, we're now 24 hours in. We left at 8:50 yesterday morning. I know my watch is 9:50 because the clock's been pushed forward an hour. We're on Spanish time, and we are about 50 minutes away from A Coruña, where we'll be doing our second fuel stop and clearing immigration and hopefully grabbing a shower. Ben was brave enough to have a shower on board while cruising at 36 knots, so he's a bit nuts. So we're here. We're coming into here to refuel.
When it rains, it pours, water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it.
Thunderchild 2 was built by Safehaven Marine in Ireland, so when the local pilots heard we were coming, they decided to give us a cracking welcome, as their boat was also built by Frank and his team at Safehaven Marine. You can certainly see they were very excited to see us.
Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They say no to sleepless nights. Where you find me?
So interestingly, guys, we stopped by refueling, and four of us went to use the shower facilities here in the marina. bear in mind, we're putting 8,000 euros worth of fuel in. They've charged us for a night's berth. I'm not staying here because we've used the showers. Even we're going to spend 8,000 euros in fuel. And I asked, is this normal? And the guys doing the the fuel assistant seem quite embarrassed and think the port should be ashamed of themselves, to be honest. But hey ho, Marina Coruña. It's a great welcome though. We had the pilot boat came out, welcomed us, really nice guys. They were so friendly, and then they suddenly bill us for using the showers, even after putting 8,000 euros of fuel in. Not good customer service. Anyway. Right, passport immigration done, refueling done, hydrated. I'm about to eat. Now about to cast off and be on our way. I think next stop Vigo, and then from there go straight to Cadiz depending on the weather. We're expecting a bit of a swell now. And then following hours, the guys bring the lines on now. Let's get going. We've come into a bit of a fog bank. We've had to reduce speed to 20 knots. We've got extra lookouts sounding the fog horn every 2 minutes. Well, intervals not exceeding 2 minutes. Hopefully it's clear up soon because we're now going quite slow. It feels quite slow now. Still doing 20 knots. See, pretty now starting to lift a bit, but looks of it. It is getting better. I think you can start slowly picking up again if you want. Tips for you when entering or near an area of restricted visibility. Things to take into consideration. Be sure you're proceeding at a safe speed. Go into manual steering, post extra lookouts, have engines ready for immediate maneuver, make sure your watertight doors are locked and closed, inform the crew. If you're on a power-driven vessel, put on your sound signals. The sound signal should be one prolonged blast at intervals not exceeding 2 minutes. A prolonged blast is 4 to 6 seconds. Be monitoring sounds and by eye, looking out the window, looking at your radar, and communicating with your team on board. Turn on your navigation lights, and yeah, be safe out there. That's ours. We're now in Vigo. It wasn't a long journey really from La Coruña to Vigo. We wanted to top up a bit more fuel because we want to do now non-stop to Gibraltar, and then refuel in Gibraltar, and then we might not go to Ibiza, go to Palma instead. It depends on the weather. It's not looking great this evening. Anyway, and this pump is very slow, which is a bit annoying, so it's easing into our time. But on the plus note, the boys have gone into town while we're refueling to get McDonald's. We've got another hour left of refueling. We thought we'd treat ourselves to a bit of a Mackie D's. Living the dream, guys, living the dream. Right, chaps. Local time in Portugal, just gone past 8 p.m. And yeah, as you guessed it, we're heading down the coast of Portugal now. Left to Vigo after refueling, and on our way, we hope that next stop should be Gibraltar, depending on the weather. Get to Gibraltar, refuel, where we go. time, so Portuguese time. We're just now south of Lisbon. Our next stop theoretically should be Gibraltar, to refuel in Gibraltar. About a metre and a half, 1.6, so 4.6 gusting 4.7 from behind, and we're still cruising nicely at 32 knots. Max and I were just saying how impressive this wave-piercing hull is on this boat. So Frank and the guys from Safehaven Marine, well done on building a solid boat. It does make you feel very confident and very comfortable to be cruising at these speeds in these conditions. So that's the update. Right, quick update, chaps. It's 4 AM and we lost engine number 3 and engine number 2 is surging. We believe it appears to be possibly dirty fuel that we've bunkered, but the rate cords are looking a little bit clogged up. So we decided, because we've been a bit of a swell, it's safer to head to ports, which is about 2 hours away. And we've spoken to the marina over the sat phone, and they're expecting us. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make it there on at least 1 or 2 engines. So that's the update. So yeah, Max is just down there checking everything now with his with the multimeter, and obviously we've made an unplanned stop to Portugal, so Ben needs to quickly take the Spanish flag off and put the Portuguese flags on, otherwise they're going to get offended.
After further investigation, we realised it wasn't a fuel issue, but rather a gearbox issue, as the engine would run but not engage forward or astern propulsion. Max started troubleshooting the issue by testing the relays and solenoids with the multimeter, which indicated no faults. So we then decided to call a specialist.
So that's it, it's all over. Given all the attempts that George and the technicians have been doing, the control valve for the gearbox is completely shot. We flushed the gearbox with, we emptied the gearbox of oil, flushed it, and put new oil in, and then flush again, and more sediment, metal particles, rubber particles came out, which is not a good sign for the gearbox. So our record attempt from London to Monaco has a setback, and really proud of the team. We've remained positive. We did really well, but sometimes these things happen, and you've 2 ways of taking it. Either you come back stronger and we do it again, or you let it hit you hard and you don't get back up on the horse. So we always get back, and we will be back and we will try it again. So that's the end of this journey for Thunderchild 2 and the 54 knots team. We've had, you know, some great memories, some great runs, really good boats, and just want to state that the gearbox issue has nothing to do with the actual build of the boat. This thing is an absolute beast. We hit some weather and we were just cruising straight through it. So Safehaven built a solid boat. The gearbox is a ZF gearbox, very well-known company, but you know, these things happen. So yeah, that's it guys, that's the end. Thank you all so much for following our journey to this point, and hopefully sometime in the near future we'll be attempting this run again. Take care, bye bye.